Hello guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be looking at the practice test number 1, the calculator version. Number 1 says, Tilly earns $P pay for every W hours of work. Which expression represents the amount of money in dollars Tilly earns for 39 W hours of work? So her rate is going to be P over W, meaning P, that's the amount of money that she gets for these hours, which is denoted by W. And then we're told that Tilly earns 39 W. We were told to find out how much she's going to earn in 39 W hours of work. So if we want to find how much is going to work for these hours, we're going to say 39 W times the rate at which she's getting paid, which is P over W. Okay, so these are going to cancel each other out and we will be left with 39P. That is the expression that we are looking for, and the answer becomes A. Number 3, 3x is equal to 12 minus 3x plus y is equal to minus 6. The solution to the given system of equations is x, y. What is the value of y? All right, so we're given that the coordinates are x, y, and we want to find the value of y. Already we have 3x is equal to 12, and in this expression here we have negative 3x. So what we're going to do is to take, we're going to substitute where we have 3x, we're going to place 12. So we have negative 12 because we have a negative right here. So we have negative 12 plus y is equal to negative 6. So if we add 12 this side, remember what you do on the left, we also do on the right. So we end up with y is equal to 12 minus 6, which is equal to 6. And that answer is B. Number 2, for a training program, Juan rides his bike at an average rate of 5.5 minutes per mile. Which function M models the number of minutes it will take Juan to ride X miles at this rate? All right, so we have the rate of 5.7 minutes per mile. And then for him to ride X miles, we want to find out the number of minutes. Okay, so the rate that we have is minute per mile, and we have 5.7 is equivalent to 1 mile. Now we want to find out for X miles, what is going to be the time. All right, so we're going to then say X over 1, because we expect this to be more. All right, so I say X over 1 times 5.7 over 1, and we get 5.7x. So now the model that we're looking for, the function, right, is going to be 5.7x, and the answer is D. Then number 4, S is equal to 40 plus 3t. The equation gives the speed S in miles per hour of a certain car t seconds after it began to accelerate. What is the speed in miles per hour of the car 5 seconds after it began to accelerate? So we have S is equal to 40 plus 3t. What we're doing here is to substitute. So we have 40 plus 3. We're told that 5 seconds, which is our t. So we have 5 right here. So now we have 40 plus 15, which gives us 55. And the answer is D. Moving on to number 5. For the right triangle shown, A is equal to 4, B is equal to 5. Which expression represents the value of C? Which expression represents the value of C? Okay, so from our formulas, we know that C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. So in order for us to find C, it would be the square root of A squared plus B squared, which would be equal to the square root of, if A, we're told that the A is 4, B is equal to 5. So that would be the square root of 4 squared plus 5 squared. and that is D. Number 7, so we're told the x-intercept of the graph shown is x is 0. Okay, now what is the value of x? We go to the graph and we find where it is intersecting, and this is the point that we're looking for. So our x value is equal to 7. Moving on to start with number 6. 4x plus 5 is equal to 165. What is the solution to the given equation? So we say 4x plus 5 is equal to 165. We take 5 to the other side and it becomes negative 5. Then we're left with 4x is equal to 160. We divide both sides by 4 and we remain with x is equal to 40. And then number 8, the function f is defined by f of x is equal to 1 over 10 x minus 2. What is the y-intercept of the graph of y is equal to f of x in the xy plane? So we're told y-intercept. So whenever we are told that y-intercept, we know that our x is equal to 0. So we are going to say f of 0 is equal to 1 over 10, where we have x, or putting 0, minus 2. So this gives us a 0 minus 2, and 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So our new coordinates would be 0 for x and negative 2 for y. That is B. Moving on to number 9. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to 7x cubed. In the xy plane, the graph of y equal g of x is the result of shifting the graph of f of y is equal to f of x down 2 units. Okay, which equation defines function g? So if we're shifting it down 2 units, right, that means our y, whatever value of y is, it's going to be negative. We're going to subtract 2 from it. Okay, so that gives us g of x is equal to 7x cubed, the function of f of x, minus 2. That is D. Number 11, which expression is equivalent to 7x cubed plus 7x minus 6x cubed minus 3x? So we have 7x cubed plus 7x minus 6x cubed minus 3x. So what we're going to do is to group like terms together, meaning x cubed and x cubed, this one here, will be together. So that leaves us with 7x cubed minus 6x cubed, that is 1, and that is that's x cubed, and then plus 7x minus 3x. So if we have 2 minus, right, that gives us a positive. So we have x cubed plus 10, because plus 10x, because 7x minus 3x is the same as 7x plus 3x. So we remain with x cubed plus 10x, and that is A. Moving on to number 10, x plus 7 is equal to 10. X plus 7 squared is equal to y. Which ordered pair xy is a solution to the given system of equations? So we can easily get x, right? We say x from the first equation, which is x plus 7 is equal to 10. X is equal to 10 minus 7, that is x is equal to 3. Now we want to find out our y. So we have, where we have x, we substitute with 3. So that would be 3 plus 7 squared, which is the same as 10 squared, and that is 100. So our coordinates, that's x, y, which would be 3 and 100, and the answer is A. number 12, the function p is defined by p of n is equal to 7n cubed. What is the value of n where pn is equal to 56? So we have p of n is equal to 7n cubed, right? And then we're told that p of n is equal to 56. That means this one here is equal to 56, right? So we then divide both sides by 7, and we're left with n cubed is equal to 8. And then to find n, we take the cube root of 8, and that gives us 2. And the answer is A. Moving on to number 13. In the figure shown, line C intersects parallel lines S and T. What is the value of X? Okay, so we have a corresponding angle right here. This becomes 110. And we know that the equation, the angle on a straight line is equal to 180. So to find X, we then say 180 minus 110. And that gives us 70 degrees. That is the value of X. Number 15, the equation E t is equal to 1.8 to the power t gives the estimated number of employees at a restaurant, where t is the number of years since the restaurant opened. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 5 in this context? Okay, we are looking for this. This is what we want to find out, what it represents. Okay, so number A, part A says the estimated number of employees when the restaurant opened. Yes, that sounds correct. The increase in the estimated number of employees each year. No, because 5 is a constant. The number of years the restaurant has been opened. No, it's not the number of years of the restaurant that it has been opened. And then D, the percent increase in the estimated number of employees each year. No, we're not dealing with percentages right here because 5 is a constant, right? So the best answer, the best interpretation here is actually A. 5 is the estimated number of employees when the restaurant opened. Number 14. A list of 10 data values is shown. What is the mean of these data? So to find the mean of the data, we find the sum of whatever we are given, and then we divide by the number of the data values that we have. So we're going to add 6 plus 8 plus 16 plus 4 plus 17 plus 26 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. And we're told that it's 10 data values. So the sum that we're going to get, we are going to divide it by 10. Okay, so you may use the calculator to punch the values. So if we add everything in there, we get 100 over 10. So the mean is 10. The mean value is 10. Number 16. G of x is equal to x squared plus 55. What is the minimum value of the given function? Okay, so the minimum value is when x is equal to 0. So we're going to say 0. 0 squared is 0, right? Plus 55. And we get 55. So B is the minimum value of the given function. Number 17. Each year, the value of an investment increases by 0.49% of its value the previous year. Which of the following functions best models how the value of the investment changes over time? Okay, so since there's an increase of 0.49% of its previous value. That means it is increasing exponentially, right? C is the answer. It's increasing exponentially because this previous value keeps on changing. It's not a constant and it does not remain a constant, okay? So the answer is C. It's increasing exponentially. And then number 20, an event planner is planning a party. It costs the event planner a one-time fee of $35 to rent the venue and $10.25 per attendee. The event planner has a budget of $200. What is the greatest number of attendees possible without exceeding the budget? Okay, so when we are asked to find the greatest number, right? The greatest number, that means we're going, whatever value we're going to find, especially if it's a decimal, we're going to round down. Okay, so we're going to let X be the number of attendees. And we can actually come up with an equation whereby we're saying $35, the one-time fee, plus 10.25x, which is 10.25 per attendee, okay? 10.25x should not exceed the budget. That means is less than or equal to $200. Then we solve for x. So when we're solving for x, we now remain with 10.25 x. Then we take 35 to the other side, and that gives us 165 because we say 200 minus 35. Then we divide both sides by 10.25. There's not enough space, so bear with me. So we divide both sides by 10.25 and we are left with, let me just quickly punch that. We are left with 16.097. So the greatest number, what is the greatest number of attendees possible? So the greatest number, remember we said we round down if we have a decimal like this. So the greatest number of attendees would be 16. That is the greatest number of attendees. Okay, and then number 18, the population of Greenville is increased by 7% from 2015 to 2016. If the 2016 population is K times the population of 2015, what is the value of K? Okay, so we're told from 2015 to 2016, there was an increment of 7%. And then the population of 2016 is actually 2015, population of 2015 K. All right, so we're going to let the population in 2015 be denoted by X actually. And then the percentage increase is 7%, right? Which is the same as 0.07. So what we're going to do now is to say now the population in 2016 is equal to X, which is the population in 2015, plus the increment 0.07x, which gives us X, that's 1, right? So it's 1.07x. So that gives us our K would be equivalent to 1.07. Okay, so that would be the value of K. This is the constant, the value that we're looking for. So that is 1.07, and that is C. And then number 21, if 4x minus 4 is equal to 112, what is the positive value of x minus 1? Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, so this right here, it can be written as two linear equations, okay, whereby we have 4x minus 4 is equal to 1, 1, 2, or it can be written as a negative, okay? We have 4x minus 4 is equal to 1, 1, 2. But we want the positive value, okay? So if we want the positive value now, we're going to try to see from this one what we get. So where 4x minus 4 is equal to 112, we move 4 to the other side and we remain with 4x is equal to 116. So that gives us our x value. We divide both sides by 4 and we're left with x is equal to 29. And then if we try out this one, then we remain with 4x, since there's a negative, right? So we're going to put it onto the other side. So 4x is equal to negative 112, right? Negative 112 plus 4. When we take minus 4 to the other side, it becomes a positive. So we remain with negative 108. Then we divide both sides by 4 and we get x is equal to negative 27. All right, so now we have x minus 1, right? We have the value of x here is 29, so that's 29 minus 1, that gives us 28. And then on the other end, we have x minus 1, and we got minus 27 minus 1, and we get negative 28. So the positive value that we're looking for, the positive value of x minus 1 is 28. Okay. Number 22, a cube has an edge length of 68 inches. A solid sphere with a radius of 34 inches is inside the cube, such that the sphere touches the center of each face of the cube to the nearest cubic inch. What is the volume of the space in the cube not taken up by the sphere? Okay, so we can just do a quick sketch of what they are trying to communicate. All right, so let's say this is the cube and we have a sphere inside, right? Something like this. We have a sphere inside and we're told that each side is 68, and then the radius that we get is 34. Okay, so now what we do is we say the volume of the cube, right? Volume of the cube is equal to length times width times height. And we're told all the sides, they are 68. So that's 68 times 68 times 68. And that gives us 314,432 cubic inches. Okay. And then now we want to find the volume of the sphere. And the formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. So we have 4/3 multiplied by pi, and then our radius is 34 cubed, and we get 164,636 cubic inches. Okay, so we now have this volume and this volume. So what we want to find now is the volume of the space in the cube not taken up by the sphere. Okay, so the volume of the space in the cube not taken up would be equal to the volume of the cube, that's 314,432, minus the volume of the sphere, 164,636. And when you subtract this, we get 149,796, which is A. And then number 19, which expression is equivalent to A to the power 11/12, where A is greater than 0? Which expression is equivalent? So that would be a to the power 11 over 12, right? We want to, if we look at these answers, there's something that they have in common, right? So if we multiply 11 and 12 by 12, right, we get a to the power 132 over 144. So what this means is we're going to find 144 and a to the power 132. Okay, so the answer for this would be B. That is how we get B. Okay, so moving on to number 23. What is the diameter of the circle in the xy plane with the equation x minus 5 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 16? Okay, so the standard form of an equation of a circle in the xy plane is that the equation of it is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So this 16 here is our r squared. Okay, so the coordinates of the center of the circle are h and k. This h and the k, and this r squared is our 16. So taking the square root of both sides of the whole equation, we then get square root of 16, which is r squared, right, is equal to either positive 4 or negative 4. So this 4 actually represents r, because remember the square root of 16 is the square root of r squared. So r is equal to 4 or r is equal to negative 4. But we can't have the radius of a circle is a negative number. So we're going to work with the positive number, which is r is equal to 4. And we know that the diameter is equals to 2 times r, right? So that gives us 2 times 4, and that is 8. So the answer is B. Number 25. A model estimates that at the end of each year from 2015 to 2020, the number of squirrels in a population was 150% more than the number of squirrels in the population at the end of the previous year. The model estimates that at the end of 2016, there were 180 squirrels in the population. Which of the following equations represents this model, where n is the estimated number of squirrels in the population t years after the end of 2015, and t is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so in this kind of scenario, we use our equation of a b to the power x, right? So we're told that in the previous year, right, in terms of the percentage, we're going to use, so let me say previous year, whatever number we're working with is equivalent to 100%. Okay, and then the population increased to 150%, right? If it's the population, the population was 150% more than the number of squirrels in the previous year. So we're saying the population was 150% more. That means we're saying 100 from the previous year plus 150 to give us 250%. Okay, so if we then if we do this 250 over 100, we get 2.5. Okay, so now at the end of 2016, there were 180 squirrels in the population, right? And to find A, okay, by the way, this 2.5 is our B. That's the growth rate that we have. That is our B. Okay. And then to find our A, we're going to say, which is the initial number of squirrels, we are going to say 180, the ones that we had there, divided by 2.5. And that gives us 72. Okay. So now the equation that fits the model is actually going to be N is equal to the initial number of squirrels, which is 72, right, times the growth factor, which is B, that is 2.5, multiply to the power T. That's this T that we're now considering. So if we look for this, we get our answer as B. So number 25 is B. Moving on to number 24. For the exponential function f, the value of f of 1 is k, where k is a constant. Which of the following equivalent forms of the function f shows the value of k as the coefficient of the base? All right. So again, if we have our function in this form, right, we have our function in this form where y is our f of x, then we have a constant a, and we have the factor here, which is 1.6 in this case, which is our x, and then b, that's to the power. All right. So substituting these answers that we have A, B, C, and D, right? So substituting this into this form, right? Because the question is saying for the exponential function f, the value of f 1 is k. So we're saying f of 1, when we substitute 1 into all these, we're supposed to get k, which is the constant. So we're supposed to get this value a if we substitute wherever we have x with 1. Okay, so if we do that with a, if we put a right here, okay, let me do it in parts. If we have 1 plus 1, that then gives us 50, 1.6 to the power 2. That this whole expression is not going to give us 50 as the answer. Okay, so A is out, and then if we try to substitute with B, we have 1.6 to the power 1. Again, if we punch this in our calculator, we're not going to get 80 as the answer, so this is not correct. And then substituting into C, where we have 128, 1.6, then 1 minus 1, right? This will give us this answer, because 1 minus 1, that's to the power 0. So we end up with 128, 1.6 to the power 0. Anything raised to the power 0 is the same as, is equal to 1. So we end up with 128 times 1, and we get 128. So this is correct. If we look at D, again, this is incorrect, because we have 204.8, 1.6, then 1 minus 2. This is going to give us a negative value, and if we punch this, we are not going to find 204.8. So the answer then is C. The answer then becomes C. So moving on, in number 26, 5x plus 7y is equal to 1. Ax plus by is equal to 1. In the given pair of equations, a and b are constants. The graph of this pair of equations in the line xy plane is a pair of perpendicular lines. Which of the following pairs of equations also represents a pair of perpendicular lines? All right, so if two lines are perpendicular, then their slopes, if they are perpendicular, then their slopes are the negative reciprocal. Okay, so what we're going to do is to find the slope of the equation, the one that we have here, equation 1 and equation 2, right? That is what we're going to look for first, in the form of y, the equation of a line, is equal to mx plus c. So for equation number 1, we have 5x plus 7y is equal to 1. We want to remain with 7y on this side is equal to negative 5x plus 1. Divide both sides by 7 and we end up with negative 5 over 7x plus 1 over 7. So the slope, which is m, right, is equal to negative 5 over 7. And then the negative reciprocal would be 7 over 5. All right, and then for equation number 2, we have by is equal to negative ax plus 1. To get y, we then divide both sides by b. So we have negative a over bx plus 1 over b. So the slope for this equation, the slope m, is equal to negative a over b. All right, so since the graph of the given pair of equations is a pair of perpendicular lines, the slope of the graph of the second equation, this one right here, must be the reciprocal of negative 5 over 7, which is actually 7 over 5. So what we then do, we say negative a over b, right, is equal to the negative reciprocal, remember, 7 over 5. Or we can write it as a over b is equal to negative 7 over 5. It's one and the same thing, right? So now if we come to these equations that we have, the pair of equations, I am going to put out d and a because of these differences here in the signs, right? These equations do not look anything similar to what I have right here. So I'm going to start off with equation from the option B, right? So from option B, we have, right? So from option B, we have, this is going to be our part 1, equation 1, and this is going to be our equation 2, right? So we end up with 7y is equal to negative 10x plus 1. And then we divide both sides by 7 and we remain with negative 10 over 7x plus 1 over 7, right? And then for equation number 2, we remain with 2by is equal to negative ax plus 1. And then for us to get our y, we divide by 2b. So we have negative a over 2b x plus 1 over 2b, right? So we have our slopes here. For this equation, we have negative 10 over 7, right? Let me just remove this. And then the slope for this equation, we have negative a over 2b, right? So if our AB, the one that we have here, is equal to negative 7 over 5, we have a similar thing with a over 2b, right? So if a over b is equal to negative 7 over 5, that means negative a over 2b is equal to, because this is the same as negative half, right? Negative half multiplied by this minus 7 over 5. And that gives us positive 7 over 10, right? And then remember, for this slope, we had negative 10 over 7, right? So this 7 over 10, so 7 over 10 is the negative reciprocal of negative 10 over 7, right? So this pair that we just worked out from option B, right, they represent a perpendicular line. So B is correct. Well, if time permits, one can actually go and try out B using the same concept that I just used to see whether they give us the same answer. However, we are going to stick to B because they've already proven to us that they are they are a pair of perpendicular lines. Okay, so now moving on to number 27, we have x squared is equal to 34x, moving on to number 27, we have x squared minus 34x plus c is equal to 0. In the given equation, c is a constant. The equation has no real solutions if c is greater than n. What is the least possible value of n? All right, so if it has got no real solutions, right, so it has got no real solutions if the discriminant is less than 0. So the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac, right? So it should be less than 0. Our b squared is negative 34 squared minus 4. Our a is 1, then our c is c, right? We use the inequality. Minus 34 squared gives us 1156 minus 4c is less than 0. We take 4c to the other side and it becomes a positive 4c, right? We divide both sides by 4 and we have 289 is less than c. So if we rearrange this, or if we rewrite it, then c is greater than 289. That means we are looking, since we're looking for the least possible value, right? The least possible value of n, right, becomes 289. Okay, this marks the end of our paper. We'll see you in the next video.